That's a load of science.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's a Lot of Science, the podcast for everyone that loves science and everything about it. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is sustainability and biosolution. And we are going to do this with our guest, Christian Caprara, project manager at Novonesis. So first of all, Christian, thank you very much for joining us today. And we always start like this. We always leave you the stage to give you a little bit of your introduction, of your background and what you do. So please, Christian.
Thank you, Alessio. So, as you mentioned, I'm a project manager working on Novonesis, where I'm mainly responsible for leading new product development, so MPD projects, and predominantly in the human health domain. I'm a cell and molecular biologist by training and earned my PhD more or less 10 years ago from the University of Zurich. Over the past decade, I gained experience in different fields, including developing new products, as I'm doing now, and over the past years, especially in OTC and in dietary supplement fields. But I also gained experience in contract manufacturing, including business development, designing products, developing them and industrializing them, performing technology transfers, and also got some experience in quality and regulatory affairs. However, I love science, but during the years, project management became a passion to me. So, and that prompted me also to invest time in postgraduate education in these fields, which then resulted also in a PMP certification from the Project Management Institute. Currently, I have more and more interest also in project portfolio management. So really aligning business strategy into selecting the right projects to make a positive impact. So what drives me at work is leading cross-functional teams into delivering tangible results for improving human health, with also an eye on sustainability. So having also a positive impact on the planet where we live in.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you very much. You had a very, very broad expertise. A very big toolbox, as we would say. You have seen everything from science to regulatory to business development, and now, you are focusing on, developing new products, also in with an eye for sustainability. But in particular, the company, you work with is very focused in these so-called biosolutions. And what are those? And like how they can be a solution for reducing the impact and help in sustainability for for the future of our, as you say, of our planet that we know we have to care of.
Sustainability is at the heart of the growing interest in biosolution. I'm not saying anything new when I say that our planet is facing a lot of environmental challenges, and we need sustainable practices which are essential to ensure that we meet our current needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And it's quite shocking if you think that in less than 20 years, the world will need 40 to 50% more energy, water, and food. And this is beyond what the Earth is having as a carrying capacity if we don't change the way how we produce and consume. So what is a biosolution? A biosolution refers to the application of a biological mechanism or organism, such as enzymes, bacteria, fungi, yeasts, but also proteins, peptides, to solve environmental, agricultural, food and health, as well as industrial challenges.
Mhm.
Biology-based technologies are basically designed to work in harmony with natural as well as industrial processes. And they offer more sustainable and eco-friendly alternatives to the traditional chemical and mechanical methods.
So yeah, I mean that's the point. I mean, shifting away from chemicals that are like pollutants and the mechanical method that requires a lot of energy. But what are the main components of a biosolution? So you mentioned already microorganisms, but how do you think about? I mean, when you think about it, how do you choose one? How do you develop one? Where do you start?
Yeah, I can give you two examples about one can be an enzyme or bacteria. So they are fundamental components of many biosolutions, and this due to their capabilities. So if you think at enzyme, these are biological catalysts which speed up chemical reaction, but are not consumed by the process. So one application that comes to my mind is, for example, the textile industry, where you can use cellulases to, for example, soften fabrics or create stone-washed effect in denim, resulting in a reduced water and energy consumption when compared to traditional methods.
Yeah.
Another, as I mentioned, other applications are based on bacteria, and their power basically can be harnessed for various applications. One can be in food and beverage. So where a bacteria can provide optimal texture to foods without needing chemical additives for that. They can reduce fat levels, they can reduce the need for added sugar, and they can ensure longer freshness and shelf life to food. Bacteria during fermentation produce enzymes, for example, in cheese production that ensure higher yield, so you produce more out of less. Another example are probiotics when taking in bacteria, which help in maintaining a balanced microbiota in humans, but also in animals.
Absolutely. And you mentioned already two of the most impactful industries there with like the textile industries. And we know like the use of chemical there, the use of industrial processes, and also like, the way that the fashion industry, let's say, works now. It is increasing the consumption, and we need to have new solution. And I mean, the one you mentioned is a great example of it. And the food industry with intensive farming and agriculture that has an impact on the environment and on the global on the global health. Let's put it this way. And do you feel like there is a growing interest in this technology from the companies? Like, I mean, there is a sort of, because this would require, in my opinion, a sort of a change of mind, a shift. Because sometimes using chemicals or using a intensive procedure would be easier, let's put it this way, no? I mean, and they need a change of perspective. Do you feel like there is this kind of willingness to do it, or there is still some hurdle to overcome?
Resistance? No, there is definitely a will to adopt biosolutions, because of course companies are also in the spotlight in terms of sustainability today, but even more, this biosolution help into making processes more efficient, getting, as I mentioned, more out of less. So it's a benefit also for companies in their processes.
Yeah. And is it easy? I mean, this is more for your daily job to transfer this message to the companies. I mean, they receive well this message that this actually is in their favor.
It is. As Novonesis, we work very much in close collaboration with our customers, proving that our biosolution work in their application. So we co-develop into the application that biosolution, proving that it can actually deliver the benefit that it promised to deliver.
And as we already said, it is applicable to many fields. I mean, a lot of fields can be impacted by this, no? So, I mean, it's important that we have a widespread application of this. So we mentioned agriculture, we mentioned already some like textile industry. Is there anything else that would be that you feel is going to be more impacted by the application of this sort of solution?
Yeah, well, you mentioned agriculture. Maybe it's worth spending 2 words about it. So these are interesting biosolutions applied to agriculture. For example, biofertilizers or even biopesticides, which of course, on one side, they support sustainable farming by enhancing the health of the soil where we culture our plants, but also the need, reducing basically the need for pesticides, for the classical pesticides that we use today. Another interesting field is household care. So enzymes are used in household care in products like laundry detergents and cleaners, because they can efficiently break down stains and residues. So, for example, in terms of stain removal, we have enzymes which target specific substances like proteins, fats, starches, which are part of these stains, and effectively build them down. What is then the impact? Not only you have cleaner, your laundry is cleaner, meaning you need only one washing cycle, so thereby preventing additional washing cycle which use additional water. But you can also engineer enzymes to work effectively at lower water temperature. So you can already by default decrease and wash instead of 40 degrees at 30 degrees. Also there, reducing the need for additional energy to warm up water.
Yeah.
And last but not least, they are biodegradable. So they break down naturally, not as chemical substances, which then accumulate in wastewater.
Yeah.
Another maybe more known example is bioremediation, where you can use bacteria to clean up soils from heavy metal or radioactive contaminants in soils and also in water. And thinking about the food industry, biosolution can also increase food quality by either inserting probiotics, which have a positive impact on human health, or acting as natural preservatives, increasing also, on the other side, production efficiency with enzymatic processes. Thinking about another interesting application in the food industry, it's the baking industry. And this is already very widespread. So adding amylases, for example, which break down starches into sugars, can boost yeast fermentation in the baking industry, leading to better rise, softer crumb. And also other enzymes are hemicellulase, which improve bread stability and gas retention into bread, ensuring that this consistent quality and appearance of baked goods lasts longer, and the positive impact is less food waste.
Yeah. And I mean, this is an application that everyone could see in their daily life. I mean, we all have. I mean, we all have tried to bake something at home at least once. I mean, during the COVID pandemic, everyone was making bread at home, and this is a positive application that you could see in your daily life, and not only on an industrial level. That's very, very, very interesting. And I mean, then I mean, we have already seen a lot. I mean, focusing on one aspect that is the healthcare, which is our, it's also my background because I come from that industry as well, and we have been collaborating in the past also in that. You mentioned already probiotics, and I think everyone has seen that or have used that in pharmacies and drugstore. But what is behind the curtains? What is the process of getting a new probiotic on the shelf?
Yes. So we all know probiotics are live microorganisms. Then, when administered in the right amounts, confer an health benefits to the host. I'm saying the host. It's important. Probiotics are not only for human. We also have application for animals of probiotics. So, what are the typical development steps for a probiotic product? So, first of all, we need to select the right strain. And this is important. So the beneficial effect of probiotics goes down to strain level, not only species level. So we need to have that tool. We need to look at our toolbox of strain and select the one that confers the benefit we are looking for. Then we need to test it in the lab. We may need to test it in vivo, especially to assess safety initially. So safety and toxicology assessment are really important for probiotics, which are usually marketed as dietary supplements, so as food. And proof for safety is fundamental requirement from health authorities. Then we go into clinical trials. So we want to conduct human trials to establish that these health benefits are actually confirmed at an optimal dose. And clinical trials are important for efficacy, again for safety, but more importantly, they also build consumer trust. So they build credibility within the consumers as also within healthcare professionals. And in some cases, and that's also important, some regulatory authority may require proof for efficacy for you to market the product. And again, regulatory approval is then also part of that development process. In addition to that, we need also to develop an industrial process for the production, and which results in developing stable formulation, which are also scalable from a manufacturing point of view for both the ingredient as well as the finished product. And doing that, ensuring that quality is built within the processes, the products, with implementing also rigorous testing to ensure that we have consistency and purity.
Amazing. And from many point of view, this is very similar to a drug development. With all the study, the focus on safety and efficacy. But as you mentioned, they are marketed as a dietary supplement. Does it make easier for certain aspects? I guess so. But how it is the process, timing, and is it probably a little bit shorter than a drug, but still very expensive? What is from the impact?
It is definitely faster. So the dietary supplement field is also a fast-moving field, faster than pharma. However, it takes significant investments from a resource point of view and also time. So developing really effective probiotics, which are safe, which are really robust in terms of production, can take years. It's not done overnight.
And it will require
5 years to develop.
5 years, and it will require expertise from many aspects, because of course you have the microbiologists for the strain selection, you have formulators, you will have of course healthcare professionals for the clinical trial, in vivo and in vitro scientists. So it is a very multidisciplinary effort from many different expertise. And at the end of the day, so we have our probiotics, and what they are used for. Of course, like everyone use it for gut health, but recently we have it. We have started studying also other application, no, for probiotics.
Yes, definitely. So gut health is maybe the most historically known application, but beside that, there is a significant amount of evidence accumulating showing support to the immune system as well. Other applications, which are relatively novel, are in mental health. So the so-called psychobiotics have shown they can contribute, for example, to stress relief and improve mental health by acting through the so-called gut-brain axis. Another application is in women health, for example. It is also something which is more and more proven today.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the fact, that we have more bacteria cell in our body than human cells in our body always made my mind blown. But you can imagine the impact on health that the bacteria that lives on our body have, because of course they are the majority of us. Let's put it this way. And your daily work, where do you? You said already you work with many different, functions in the company, but how is your daily work then in interacting with this process of developing new probiotics?
Yeah, as you mentioned, so my daily work results in a blend of scientific research, product development, supply, manufacturing, quality, regulatory, but also commercial and business development activities. So as a project manager, I have the luxury of working with experts. So I know a little bit of everything. They know everything about their field. So I interact daily, for example, on business development with experts where we identify market and consumer needs and trends in order to guide our roadmap on product development. We also, with our business development and commercial colleagues, work hand in hand with key customers to validate our value proposition, our pricing strategy, for example. And we also work on developing marketing strategy on how to introduce the products to the market and promote them. When thinking at my colleagues in research and development, as you mentioned, with really highly skilled microbiologists, we collaborate daily to identify new promising strains. And with experts in clinical development, I collaborate in designing these clinical trials to gather robust data. Other experts in product development, in industrialization, in quality, help in designing the processes and implement them, also upscaling to meet at the end the commercial volumes at launch of the product. And as I mentioned earlier, quality is really key. We build quality in the product and in the process. Finally, regulatory affairs experts really help ensuring that the products are compliant to local and international regulation. And they also do the hard work of preparing and submitting documentation for regulatory approval where that is required.
It's really a lot of activities, a lot of different things, of course, as well. No, from sometimes we feel like all these steps are like closed boxes, and when you finish in the first one, you move to the next. But it's actually a whole blend of activities and stuff that overlap, and then that's where people with for example, your expertise come in, because they have to make sure that the transition between the different states are smooth, let's say.
Yeah.
And if you have to do an example of something, like the latest and greatest, or I don't know, something that you want to share on applying this process to an actual product that we might have seen, or some application that had an impact on human health, for example.
Yeah, I can give you some example. One is, for example, as a probiotic formulation we developed, which is called Astarte. This is designed to support women's health and focus particularly on the vaginal microbiota. So this is a unique blend which includes different lactobacilli strain, which are naturally prevalent in an healthy vaginal environment. So what Astarte does, it helps maintaining an optimal balance of beneficial bacteria, which can in turn protect from common urogenital issues, such as bacterial vaginosis or yeast infection. And this product is clinically tested and safe for long-term use. Another very interesting biosolution we developed, it's called SmartGuard. And SmartGuard is a Lactobacillus plantarum strain, which shows an exceptional ability to bind lead, so the heavy metal lead. And therefore, ingesting SmartGuard helps sequester lead from the ingested water and food and excrete it through the natural process. So preventing lead buildup in the body.
Yeah, I mean, and we have seen how this is affecting health, because now lead is in our food, heavy metals is in our food. I mean, this is a different application. Like, I mean, it's something that you wouldn't never expect that a bacteria could do that. And how do you find this property? I mean, you build the strain for that, or it is more something that you discover when you cultivate different strain?
It was identified by screening for the right strain, already having the final application in mind. So looking for the right strain who can have the highest lead binding capability. And a similar story is Pilopas. Pilopas is a Lactobacillus reuteri strain, which was selected to bind specifically to Helicobacter pylori. And Helicobacter pylori is a bacteria which is present in more or less half of the population, with 20% of the people which are infected showing symptoms, which include stomach problems, including dyspepsia and others, and can lead also to more severe issues. So we screened across our library of strains for a strain who can really specifically co-aggregate with the Helicobacter, and then again through the normal digestive process flush it out from the body. And we have a significant amount of clinical studies showing that you can decrease the Helicobacter pylori load in your stomach, even especially when used not as a standalone but as an adjuvant of standard treatment. It can improve the eradication rate.
Wow, I mean, that's really, really, really amazing and surprising. I mean, and yeah, these are great examples of application of probiotics on human. You mentioned before also that the probiotic can be also given to animals. I mean, is this referring, I think, to the animal farming, which is probably one of the less sustainable industries out there? Definitely. So, I mean, how using probiotics in animal would help in sustainability, would help in making this the food production more sustainable?
Yeah, so let's again take a step back when I mentioned about the application in agriculture, and also then we will move into animal farming. So what application do we find in plant health? So which biosolution do we find there? We find solutions which help in increasing yield and reducing the environmental impact, as you mentioned, by reducing the need for chemicals. So we have, for example, biofertilizer. where microbes can enhance the nutrient uptake in crops, as I mentioned, then to reduce the need for synthetic fertilizers, and biopesticides, which are beneficial against some nematodes, for example, or soil-borne diseases. And they can also enhance root health and plant resilience, leading to these higher yields that I mentioned. In animal farming, we offer solutions which improve animal health, also in feed conversion efficiency, so getting more energy and nutrients out of every kilogram of feed we give to animals, but also in terms of silage quality, so contributing eventually to a more sustainable livestock farming. So in terms of probiotic solution for animals, these can enhance gut health and growth performance in animals like poultry, swine. And the impact is having healthier animals which require fewer antibiotics and produce more with less feed, reducing the overall footprint of animal farming. In animal nutrition, we have enzymatic solution for animal feed, which increase, as I mentioned, the feed conversion ratio and boost performance. So, but why do?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Why do the animals would need this? I mean, for their feeding.
Yeah, exactly. Why do they need it? I mean, when animals consume feed, their stomach and small intestine naturally produces a variety of enzymes like we do. And this play crucial role into breaking down starch, protein, fats into essential components that can be absorbed. But the remaining components, which can range from 30 to 90% of that feed, are excreted as waste. So we want to get more out of that feed.
So also because there is an increasing need for food and increasing need for efficiency in this process. So yeah, I mean, the waste reduction is crucial at this stage.
So at Novonesis, we have in this sense developed a range of enzymes for animal feed. So you add it to animal feed, and that improves digestibility of proteins, but also phosphorus, which is really a costly component in animal feed. So at the end, they do not only enhance the quality of the feed, but also reduce the amount needed.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, and this is in turn reduce the need for having intensive agriculture to produce more feed and the use of chemicals. I mean, it is a whole process, a whole system that is changing. And I mean, beyond using this for creating animal food, there is also growing interest in plant-based food, and we know that the vegetarian and vegan population is increasing, and but there are concern about sometimes the sustainability and the environmental impact also of plant-based food, because they do have that as well. So is there something that is important for also like develop plant-based food or like vegetarian food that we could use to reduce their impact?
Yeah. So biosolution in plant-based food make a significant impact. So one example is about oat drinks, which are very popular now. It's the fastest emerging category in dairy-free beverage, in the dairy-free beverage segment, with a growth which is currently estimated at 30% per year. And there are several reasons why. So it's one is their close association with milk, because oat is used widespread as a breakfast cereal. The other one is an outstanding nutritional profile, which sets oat drinks apart from other plant-based dairy alternatives. And added to that, you can source oat as a sustainable choice as well with local sourcing.
So it is, yeah, I mean, it is local because, I mean, oat is farmed pretty much everywhere. No, it's a very sturdy plant. It can grow in many different conditions. So also like the transportation costs is reduced. That's another point that we have to consider in the sustainability cycle. But I mean, that's a problem question. How do you produce oat milk? How do you increase the productivity of that?
Exactly. That's where enzymes, for example, as Biosolutions, play a key role. On one side, they play a key role in adjusting the sensory profile. So sensory profiles, taste, texture are really key factors in plant-based food and drinks. So enzyme play there, for example, in oat drink production as liquefaction enzymes, which help in breaking down the starch component of oat, amylose, amylopectin, into dextrins. So it just takes few seconds for this enzyme to reduce the viscosity and the oat of the oat water blend in the process. So they really also reduce, have a positive impact on the process efficiency itself. And how can it optimize production? So a good enzyme blend is not only useful for adding the sensory profile, but it also helps in increasing production yield. So it can help in raising the dry solid content up to 10% compared to other means. So this improves the output, basically. Another example.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And on top of, I mean, oat milk is also very important for people that have lactose intolerance, and it has, they might have problem with digesting cows or animals' milk, or they have ethic concern on using animal-derived milk. And this is then strictly related with the consumption of meat. So using, I mean, now we could see a lot of plant-based meat. I don't know what is your opinion on that. I mean, in particular to the need to recreate the texture, the sensory profile, as you said before, for oat milk in meat as well.
Yeah, that especially in plant-based meat, this is the number one factor. So texture has been proven in different consumer studies to be factor number one for consumers not liking plant-based meat, because it cannot replicate that texture of meat. So again, a meat-like texture is not easy to achieve in these products. And that's where enzyme can really help. So an example of an enzyme who can help is a transglutaminase, which can be used to bind proteins together, creating a cohesive and meat-like texture in plant-based hamburgers, for example. Other enzymes belong to the lipase family, which can mimic fat content and that mouthfeel of meat. Others are proteases, which can help breaking down protein materials from soy, pea, wheat, gluten. And once these proteins are broken down, you are then able to turn glutamine into glutamic acid using a glutaminase enzyme. And that way you achieve that natural umami-like taste experience that you have in meat.
And no, that's, I mean, I quite, enjoy the plant-based burger. And of course, I mean, I don't expect them to look like or taste like meat, but it can be an experience. And I've seen now the new brand that they also fake the blood coming
Yeah.
out of the burger. I mean, there is a lot of effort in that, and you can see how much science is behind it, because of course it's not just about having a food that is sustainable and you know, it will be also healthier than consuming a lot of red meat, but needs to have that same experience also in terms of tasting, in terms of enjoying the food. So it is important that we think about the consumer at the end as well, because of course I mean, if we cannot convince the consumer to use this other solution, then all of the
And we don't
processes are
make an impact.
compromised. Exactly, we cannot make an impact. And I mean, moving outside of dietary and food consumption in general, we already talked about an industrial application like the textile industries. Now you mentioned that earlier, but we have many other applications that we can apply the biosolution to. And I'm thinking, for example, about the plastic industry. I mean, we know how plastic is, I mean, polluting our environment, the oceans, the importance of recycling plastics. But is there a biosolution also for this?
Yes. Yeah, and that is quite on the rise recently, and it basically consists of enzymes which are able to recycle plastic by breaking down the plastic waste into its original monomers, which then you can reuse to produce new plastic and replace the traditional plastic recycling process, which requires energy and has also a waste byproduct. So this approach supports the circular economy by also reducing the need for virgin plastic production and also therefore minimizing plastic waste.
Yeah, absolutely. And the importance of you know, making sure that we recycle, but sometimes also the recycling process can be consuming per se, so to optimize the recycling process. And speaking about consumption energy and what we can do to improve that, I mean, there is now a sort of growing interest in how we can run our cars or our cities in a greener way. And I mean, we know that there are biofuels and different example of that, and also strategies to capture CO2, which is the one of the main causes of the global warming that we are all experiences. And I imagine that there is also an application for that. And can you give us some example? Can you talk about this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in bioenergy, especially in biofuels like biodiesel or bioethanol, which are derived from different materials like algae, waste materials, corn, their enzymes help in breaking down this plant biomass into fermentable sugars, which are then processed into biofuels. So again, in bioethanol production, sources can include corn, sugarcane, and biomass that with the help of enzymatic hydrolysis is converted into these fermentable sugars, which then are fermented to produce ethanol. And ethanol is then used as a fuel additive to reduce carbon emission from gasoline engines. You mentioned carbon capture enzymes, and these are also very novel. It's an emerging technology which is aimed at reducing atmospheric CO2 levels. So these specialized enzymes, including some carbonic anhydrases, are used to convert CO2 as in gas form into stable forms, like into bringing it into soluble into water or into a mineral form or other useful chemicals. So on one side, you produce a useful substance as a byproduct, which can then be used in other applications. And you do that by sequestering CO2 from the atmosphere. So a direct impact.
Yeah, exactly. And also a very interesting way of then using the waste from one process to,
Exactly.
improve the efficiency of another process. And this is, a different also mental approach towards this problem. Now, how can I use things that generally considered as waste, and they might be packed with properties and features that we might be useful for that. And this is very, very interesting because we saw how this application can be applied in so many different areas, in so many different things. And I mean, you say that these enzymes that can, let's say, kidnap the CO2 are kind of a new and emerging technology. But I mean, where are we going with this? I mean, what is the, I mean, if there is an example of something that you feel it's an exciting and can be a very breakthrough advancement in this area for the next future, for the next 10 years, let's say.
Metagenomics. So studying genetic material recovered directly from the environment, from environmental sample, can lead to discovering novel enzymes and microorganisms with unique capabilities. Think, for example, about the discovery of the so-called PET-ases. Enzymes which degrade PET have been discovered in some regions around facilities which were recycling plastics, because through natural selection, some bacteria developed those enzymes to gather energy out of the plastic which was lying there. And that was
they needed to get the food from somewhere, and they developed the ability to digest the plastic then. Yeah.
Exactly. So without that tool in our end, we wouldn't have discovered them.
And this is then again can be used for engineering the microbiome from the human health perspective.
Exactly.
So like
that is also microbiome engineering, and is also really an emerging technology which is on the rise.
And I mean, speaking of emerging technologies, and from my end, I am active in the AI technologies and how they can be applied in not only in human health, but in all the industries where biosolutions can be applied to. Where do you see them, or how do you see them being applied to amplify their impact?
Yeah, first of all, I'm analyzing a huge amount of data. So AI can really help there, analyzing this huge amount of biological data to find patterns, predict outcomes, and that will really speed up the discovery of new biosolutions. Also, AI helps in optimizing processes, so thereby also then reducing waste, increasing efficiency, and also predictive modeling. So predict how biological system can respond to different treatments, guiding the development of more effective biosolutions.
Is that, yeah, exactly. I mean, using the predictive tool analysis of and the capabilities of AI can definitely help here. Do you see this already being applied in your industry, or it is still an ongoing process? Are there something that you can discuss about?
Yeah, we start to apply them. I see the industry started already moving into it. I think we still need to understand the full capability that AI can offer. But it's also a field which is going so fast, and we need really to go hand in hand with its development to harness the best.
Exactly. Every year we learn something new about AI, and we discover, we never know in 10 to 20 years where this will be and how this can be applied. But how do you see the future of Biosolutions? So with or without the application of AI, with or without the deep application of digital tools, in 10 to 20 years, all the different fields that we cover with the potential application of Biosolution, where do you see them going in this? In this aspect?
I hope in 10, 20 years, we will see in agriculture biofertilizer and biopesticides, which will be mainstream and will reduce significant the reliance we have on synthetic chemicals and classical pesticides. I see in industrial processes enzymes dominating, leading to, as I mentioned, cleaner, more efficient production methods, especially in those polluting industries like the leather industry as well, the plastic industry. In bioenergy, I see biofuels dominating as well, contributing to a greener energy landscape because we will no longer be dependent on fossil fuels. And also waste management. So having really biosolution who can help clean up contaminated soils and environments by these contaminants, which can include heavy metals and others.
Of course, it is a big change, and we need, in my opinion, first of all, a cultural change in how we manage the world that we live in, and this, I think, it is a very challenging effort, and it is a very challenging mission that you and people that are active in sustainability and producing enzymes or product that can have an impact on the climate change, the global warming, and the environmental pollution will be facing in the next 10 to 20 years. But it is something that needs to come from everyone in terms of everyone can play a part of this, but also at a very higher level. Governmental side and industrial side. So how do you see the importance of these bodies collaborating together? How do you see them collaborating, and how this can have a sort of an impact on making this solution more available, more applicable to all the fields?
Yes, so partnership are really key. First one that comes to mind is partnership with the academia. They are at the forefront of basic and applied research, and through that partnership we can get new technology faster. The other one you mentioned is working in close relationship with regulatory agencies, with governments, which need to create these favorable regulatory environments that allow implementing this innovative solution and adopting them faster, because the world needs them today, not in 20 years. And then, of course, engaging with local communities, so involving them to ensure that the solution is then also tailored for the local needs and can be easily adopted, accepted, and maintained. And last but not least, we need to help each other in the industry, because of especially
you feel like there is a willingness to help each other. Among industries, there is a sharing of resources. Is that happening, or
there is, yes. There are good fora where industry experts can meet, share resources, meaning you can maybe tap into experts from the industry field, so less resources need, more expertise, and that allows faster development of these solutions.
Amazing. That's very good and refreshing to hear sometimes. And yeah, I mean, we are all involved in that, so it is important that everyone contributes and is happy to participate actively in what we do for making our planet healthier and in turn our lives healthier. Yeah, I mean, we cover many things, and Christian, I mean, you were very interesting because I mean, it's not only about human health and probiotics, but we could see how these small living microorganism like bacteria or small structures like enzymes can have a huge impact in so many different applications, and many of them that we were through during this episode are applications that we could see every day. I mean, you mentioned the baking, you mentioned we talked about probiotics. So things that or like the waste management, we all have been asked to recycle, differentiate, so these kind of things. How then this is having an impact using biosolution. So it is important that these topics are talked about and I mean, recognize their important outside of just the scientific community, but as you mentioned, also like the local community people that would have to face daily with these challenges and these and this process. So I mean, we kind of going towards the end, and I always like to conclude with an inspiring message from our guests. So I'm going to ask you, what would you suggest to people that are currently entering this world? I mean, in terms of career, but since this is a topic, sustainability and environmental impact, that is really important for the next generation in general, what would you suggest? What would you want to say? I mean, if I mean, if you have to talk with someone just starting this career or just showing interest in this field.
Yeah, what I would say, the first thing that comes to my mind is being curious. So curiosity is key. Be curious to know about emerging technologies, new trends, new discoveries. Always be curious. That drives innovation. And the second point, which is really at my heart, is to be open for cross-functional collaboration, interdisciplinary learning. So within your area of expertise, within that cross-functional collaboration, you'll not make a big difference. We need to go out of our silo, be open also to understand other function, other areas of expertise, because only through this interdisciplinary collaboration we can really drive change and make a difference. So that would be my short but
amazing, short but effective. Very good. You're right. I mean, we are part of a whole. We are not an island, and we cannot make a difference just by ourselves. We have to think about the bigger picture and the whole pictures. And I mean, would be crucial in addressing all the challenges that we're facing already and we will be facing in the next years about our environment, about our world. So, Christian, first of all, thank you very much for this very insightful, very interesting conversation we had.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it, and for everyone listening, thank you, and speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
That's a load of science.